from Kids Quest Children's Museum, and today we're going to be doing activities that will help us explore texture. And texture is the way that something feels or the way that it looks like it might feel. So when we use words like soft or fluffy or smooth, those are all words that are talking about texture. And a good way to think about texture for our first introduction to it is to make a rubbing of something. So to make a rubbing, you just need a crayon with the paper peeled off and some paper, and then an object with a texture you think would be really fun to capture. So I have this box here, and it looks like it's flat from far away, but when you feel it, it has this really cool texture from the wood grain. So if I put my paper on top of the box, and I'm going to use my crayon and just rub the side along, and I can do up and down and side to side. And you can see really clearly what the texture of this box is now. And the parts that are colored in with the crayon are the parts that are closer to the surface of the box, and then the parts that are white are the parts that are recessed or further back from the surface of the box. And the crayon can't as easily get into those spots, so it leaves them blank. And you can just see the parts that stick out the most. And you can see here we have the gap where the handle is, because there's nothing there. So you can try this on a number of different surfaces. It's really fun to do on tile, if you have tile in your bathroom or your kitchen, because you can really see the pattern of the tile. Sometimes books have raised text or pictures, so you can do a rubbing of your book too. Like this book, this whole face on the cover is raised up. So when I rub my crayon across, you can start to see the face appearing, which is really cool. So that's a first step at exploring texture. But for the activity that we're going to spend most of our time on, we're going to make a texture collage. So that means we're going to be using all sorts of different materials and putting them onto one canvas, and then we'll have our texture collage. So this is just a plain piece of cardboard. I wanted something a little bit heavier. This is the back of a cereal box, actually. But you can use just a plain piece of paper if you want. And this is going to be the base for our collage. Now, when I go to art museums, I know a lot of the time you're not allowed to touch the art. And it looks like it would be so fun to just reach out and touch it and see how it feels. And what's great about this art project is the whole point is how it feels, not how it looks. So you're going to go around your house and you're going to find objects that you think would feel really cool to touch. So I've got some bubble wrap packaging, I've got some tin foil, I've got this paper towel which is soft and it has this pattern on it, and then I've got some paper, and you can think about the different ways that something will feel when you change it. So I've got this tin foil, and when I feel it, it feels really smooth and almost slippery. So I'll just go ahead and glue on a flat piece, and this will be a smooth and slippery part of my texture collage. But with the same material, if I crumple this up and then I unfold it, it doesn't go all the way back to flat. Now it has this new texture. It's really crinkled, and when you run your hand over it, it's rough, and there are some points in there. So I'm going to glue down this rough piece of tin foil too. Feels really different. Alright, and then I've got this bubble wrap. I'm going to cut it into a long strip. And as I cut it, some of the bubbles will pop. So those will feel different too. So when I'm feeling this, it feels squishy. I can pop it and then it's not squishy anymore. So we'll have a squishy texture. And some of these things will be harder to glue down because they're not flat, like this piece of crinkled tinfoil paper. So you might want to have a different kind of glue with you too, to help glue it down so that it doesn't come up. Glue sticks are good for flat things, but liquid glue will be a little easier for things once you crumple them up and change them. My glue doesn't want to come out at all, but that should be enough to get this to stick on here. And then I have this toilet paper tube. You can see I used it for another activity too. And it's got these hard edges and it's in a circle shape. So I'm going to cut this tube into a few different pieces. And then I can glue these pieces on. And then we'll have a cool section of our collage, which feels a little rough. So let's get some glue out. Just putting some dots down, so we'll have some places to stick. And we'll put some glue stick too, for good measure. And I can put this down, and maybe I'll add another one, and another one. I don't have to keep them all circles. Some of them got a little bit smushed when I was cutting them. Alright, and then I have this paper towel. So I'll add a section of it over here. Then we'll have a soft, squishy section. And as I'm doing this, think about what materials you have in your house that you could use, which would feel very different from the ones that I'm using. And you can also use just plain paper. And when we fold it, it changes the texture of the paper. So if I make these ridges, then I'll have a cool kind of valley shape that I can run my finger across. Try and stick it down a little. You can see some of my circles are coming off, but that's okay. And then another way you can use paper is to make this kind of cut edge. It feels like running your hand through grass or maybe through hairbrush bristles. So to make this kind of fringe cut, you can just take your piece of paper and cut in part of the way. You're going to go all the way along the edge, making those cuts, and then you can cut it into a strip and then just fold it in half so you'll have part of your paper to glue down. So I already made a bunch of these and I'll go ahead and glue them down. So I've got one row, and then I can add another row, and another row. You can see I'm adding different colored paper. You don't have to do that, but it's also fun if it looks a little bit colorful too. Ooh, that's really fun to feel. Let me see if I can get more glue out of here to keep my circles on. This glue likes to get really clogged. Well, that's okay. So now we have the beginning of our texture collage. And you can use all sorts of different materials at home. And then you can feel it and try and describe the textures as you're running your hand across them, and talk about what other things feel like the pieces of your collage. And as you go around your house, there are going to be things that would be hard to put on your collage, like a couch cushion, but you can still feel that and see what it feels like. And I just thought of one more fun thing that I can put on my collage. Sticky is a texture. So I'm going to put tape that is sticky side up on the corner of my collage. So I'll have a sticky section too. But first I have to get it to not stick to me at all. So I can use another piece of tape to tape it down, and then I'll have a sticky corner, and a grassy corner, and a crinkled corner, and a squishy corner. So go ahead and make one of these of your own and figure out what textures you can make with the materials you have at home. And this one is a really fun one to do really big. So if you have a space in your house where you can put up a piece of paper on the wall and do one of these that is a whole wall, then you can feel as you go along and use all sorts of fun recycled materials. So I hope you have fun with this activity. Thank you for watching. Bye.